Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Arundhati Ramanan and with me as always Shruti Mishra, and these are the top headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. Think and Learn protest removal from committee of creditors claim that they constitute 90% of the COC in the Supreme Court. Byju's US lenders say insolvency resolution professional must not proceed with this case. NCLT is proceeding with hearing even after exclusion of lenders. Apex Court to resume hearing tomorrow.
Byju News raises $14 million in a Series B funding round led by Westbridge Capital with participation from venture capitalist Shashi Reddy. This fresh infusion of capital will be used to fuel Byju News growth and further strengthen its presence across South India.
Mayank Bidawatka, the co-founder of defunct microblogging platform Koo, starts a new venture called Billion Heart Software Technologies. According to Bidawatka, the new venture is set to launch in a few months and will build consumer products for global users.
Britain's Revolut is preparing to launch its services in India next year. The Financial Times reports that Revolut set up in India in 2021 but did not receive in-principle approval from the country's central bank to issue prepaid cards and wallets until earlier this year.
Microsoft's board approves a new share buyback program of up to $60 billion. The tech giant declares a quarterly dividend of $0.83 per share, reflecting an 8% or 10% increase over the previous quarter. Microsoft says it will hold its annual shareholders meeting on December 10th.
Well, those are the headlines we've been tracking for you this evening. AppsForBharat, the parent company of devotion platform Sri Mandir, has raised $17.8 million in its Series B round of funding. Now, the round was led by Fundamentum and also saw participation from Saskina Asia VC as well as existing investors Elevation Capital, Peak 15 and Miraya Asset VC. Now, the funds will be utilized to scale the Sri Mandir app's India and international operations. And to elaborate more, joining me now is AppsForBharat's co-founder and CEO Prashant Sachan. Prashant, welcome to Startup Street. Now, Sri Mandir caters to the devotional and spiritual needs of people. Since your launch in 2021, Sri Mandir has seen over 30 million app downloads. Can you describe your average user, where they are from, and what is the average spent on a daily basis? And also, what kind of traffic comes in on peak days?
Thank you so much for having me here. The users on the platform are everyone who believes in India's devotional practices, for example. So we see people coming from tier 1 towns, which is primarily metro cities, and we also see people coming from smaller towns. Roughly 25% of our engaged user on our services comes from outside of India. So we see a spectrum, this whole spectrum of people who believe in these cultural practices are the ones who keep using the platform. And just to give you perspective, right? Last year, roughly 5 lakh of these users made 27 lakh offerings or pujas on the platform. That's the kind of scale we are operating at this point in time.
Sure. And what about the peak seasons, the Navratris and the special occasions?
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick view of how people pray in India. So typically what we realize is it's a very strong weekly behavior. So if you believe in a certain God, you would keep coming every Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what you believe in. Now, these festivals or important tithis are important activation movements, for example. So let's say if it is, let's say Pitru Paksha is starting tomorrow. So you'll see a lot of people who would say that, hey, this is an important time, I would want to participate. So we definitely see very large peaks during these festive months or important tithis. So yeah, I think, and the idea is that can we provide value to these people on all of these events and all of these occasions?
All right, Prashant, if you could elaborate on the business model, give us a sense of your price range, how much does it really cost to use the app and the various services that you offer? Also, tell us what kind of revenues have you already clocked in? What is the cash burn?
Sure. So let me help you understand how is a user using the platform. So when a user comes on the app, he would open the app and pray. So let's say it is Tuesday, he would pray to Lord Hanuman's digital temple on the app. If he has more time, he would engage in digital content. Now, what do people do in the offline? What people also replicate on the app? So it's an important day. They would say, hey, let me make an offering of a basket of flour at an important temple. Let's say Hanuman Gadi in Ayodhya. So what the app helps you do is you can make offering of a basket of flour in your family's name in Hanumangadi, Ayodhya. And what we go on to do is our priest will go there, who is a partner priest from that temple. He will make an offering, record a video, take your name, send the blessing back to you. Now, this is one use case, which is called Chadhawa. There's another use case called as puja. So there are many of these rituals and pujas happening at these temples and pilgrimages. We curate these experiences, and you as a user from wherever you are can participate digitally. And what you get back is a video of the whole process, and you'll also get a prasad box. So this is how the offerings look like.
All right, let's get to the fundraise now. Prashant, with the fresh funds raised, you plan to onboard new temples, launch new services, and, basically strengthen your tech stack. So if you could elaborate on these plans, what new services are you looking to add?
Yeah. So one, we are going to launch our spiritual and devotional experiences as a new vertical. We are going to onboard new temples. Today, we have 50 temples on the platform. We are going to make it 10x in a year's time. The idea is to further scale our India and international operations because there's a lot of demand that is coming our way. And the last part is this company has to do a lot more. The temple ecosystem is, I would say, in terms of tech savviness, is a bit behind. So we have to build a comprehensive tech stack to bring all of them up to speed and be able to provide all of these offerings digitally. So these are the 4 areas where we're going to spend time and energy on. And I think that will enable things for the temples and the users in an equal way.
All right, Prashant, I believe there are plans to facilitate special darshan tickets, providing delivery of prasad and other related devotional goods. Will you also get into the hyper-local delivery model to take this forward? What will the vertical look like? And are you already in talks with partners?
So I think whatever it will take for us to serve the devotees better is what we are going to do. So prasad delivery is already under pilot at this point in time. We'll start doing that a bit more. We'll launch it for the larger audience. And if the requirement comes that will need a hyper local commerce enablement or quick commerce enablement, we'll do that.
Prashant, we are pressed for time. Wish you the very best in your mission to build a spiritual tourism ecosystem. Many thanks for joining us on Startup Street today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And moving on, Track3D has secured $4.3 million in seed funding led by India partners with participation from Shadow Ventures and Monta Vista Capital. Track3D is a Bay Area, US-based AI-first startup with offices in both California and India. It centralizes visual data from drones, 360 cameras, laser scanners, and mobile devices, transforming raw data into actionable insights through advanced AI tools. Joining us now to discuss this further is Chaitanya NK, the co-founder and CEO of Track3D, and also with me, my colleague Shruti. Chaitanya, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. You're an AI-first reality intelligence platform for the construction industry, right? And I named a list of things that you do in the introduction. But if you could simplify what you do with examples and sort of, make it easy for us to understand.
Absolutely. Firstly, thanks for having me. Track3D is an AI-powered construction monitoring solution. And what we mean by reality intelligence is, capture the job site through various digital sources such as drones, 360 cameras, even your mobile phone cameras. And we create a 3D digital replica of the construction site. Now that helps our customers and partners to understand, transparency in the job site in an unprecedented way. You get to understand what exactly is happening on a job site, both qualitatively and quantitatively. How much work has been installed? What is it done? Has it been done according to the design specs or not? Is what Track3D automates. So that's the essence of what we do.
All right, Chaitanya, this is Shruti quickly stepping in. Let's get to the $4.3 million funds that you've raised. Tell us the deployment plans. I believe you further plan to strengthen your tech stack as well as open new offices.
Absolutely. So this $4.3 million is actually to increase our product offerings. What I mean by that is, we are doing new offerings in terms of deviation analysis and also serve the entire asset, not only during the construction phase, but go to the asset lifecycle monitoring of any physical asset. Now, also with this, we plan to increase our go-to-market efforts. We are focusing on the US market currently and working with some of the largest general contractors and construction companies over here. So this fund will actually take us to the next level of our growth.
All right, so the funds that you've raised is going to take you to the next level of growth. But, Chaitanya, if you could sort of elaborate and give us a sense of the kind of clients you're working with, if you could give us a few names. You did say larger construction companies in the US. What about clients out here in India? Do you have any? And what kind of efficiencies are you bringing in for your clients?
Absolutely. So we are working, we firstly, as I told you, was starting focus in the US with some of the largest companies over here, namely Hensel Phelps, which is a top 10 general contractor in the US doing business of over $10 billion per year. Similarly, another company would be Performance Contracting Group, which is again the largest wall and ceiling subcontractor or trade partner in the US. Now, these people have actually scaled Track 3D from the first pilot project to now over 30 projects, going towards 100 projects plus by next year. And these are large projects such as airports, data centers, hospitals, commercial complexes, all the way to individual homes and single family homes as well. So technology is actually efficient to serve a wide variety of projects and truly scalable in that sense. In India, our plan is we are working with a few partners right now, especially in Hyderabad, where our operations are based. And our plan is to actually start more operations and serve the Indian market by next year.
Okay. All right. Chaitanya, if you could take us to the kind of revenues you've made so far, what's the target for this year? And is this a SaaS model or a plug and play?
Yes, so we are a SaaS model, and our pricing is actually dependent on the square footage of area that we are actually tracking. So it actually scales as the scale goes up, the price comes down. Obviously, you give discount for that. And we have grown 10x from last year. We sold our first version of a commercial product last year in the US market. And since then, we are now 10x on track to end this year at about $3 million in revenue.
Right, so end this year.
So all this will be in the US, at least majority of this will be in the US market.
So majority of this in the US market is what you're saying. But, speaking about your projects, we understand that you have about 30 projects on hand, right? How many more projects are you slated to do in the next year, which is mostly going to be which is also going to be mostly in the US? If you could take us through your partnerships.
Absolutely. So, our model is actually land and expand. So we start with one project with any of these large construction companies, but we know, like, for example, Hensel Phelps, they work on 250 projects at any point of time. So that is our chance to scale. And we will be on about 500 projects by end of next year. That is the target that we are set to achieve.
All right, so 500 projects by the end of next year, and that's what you're targeting at this point. Chaitanya, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street. We wish you all the best on this journey going forward.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, with that, it's time for us to head into a very short break. When we return, we'll tell you more about Pilgrim 9's million fund raise and how it plans to grow the brand. We will also get you an exclusive interaction with Honasa consumers Varun Alag about Mama Earth's festive season prep and Honasa's direct distribution plans. We will be back in a jiffy. Welcome back to Startup Street. Onto a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. Honasa Consumer, the parent company of D2C brand Mamaearth, is expecting to complete its transition to direct distribution by the end of FY25. My colleague Aishwarya Anand caught up with Varun Alag at Honasa's biggest facility in Parwanu, Himachal Pradesh, to talk on distribution chain strategy, how Mamaearth is gearing up for festive season, block deal and more. Listen in.
This is one of our largest facilities. This is where most of our face washes get manufactured. This is where our shampoos get manufactured. In terms of capacity, over 100,000 units per day is what this capacity, what this unit does right now. Top 4 facilities contribute to about 70% of our manufacturing, which are completely dedicated to Honasa. Outside of that, the balance 30% production happens with shared facilities.
Festive season is coming up and we are here in your facility. I want to understand how is Mamaearth gearing up to cater to the festive season and what are the expectations that you're setting?
No, festive season is of course a great time when consumers let their wallets loose, when they're more open to buying, purchasing. All categories see a great uptick, so we are super excited for October, November. So from a growth YOY perspective, it is there in the base as well. And hence our overall goal of ensuring we're able to deliver a high double digit, close to 20% value growth in the next quarter.
In H2, which category do you see lead the growth for Mamaearth?
So in half 2, and some of our core categories which are non-seasonal like shampoo and face washes continue to perform as is. And the category that does see seasonality is moisturization. Are
you looking at adding any new categories to the fold?
So to be honest, for us, face wash, shampoo, sunscreen, which are our core categories, and drive majority of the revenue as well as majority of profits. So we continue to focus on that. And from an adjacencies perspective, we just entered into color care and color cosmetics. And so that is one category that we are looking to build over years.
Is your transition to direct distribution complete now?
No, like we talked about it in our last quarterly result as well.
Yeah.
We're calling it Project Neve. And Project Neve is in its 3rd quarter of execution. And a lot of heavy work is being done in this quarter as we speak, and which includes our inventory transition as well. And post this, there are at least 2 to 3 more quarters of stabilization and further improving our technology and data-based recommendations into store execution that we will actually focus on.
So by when do you expect to fully transition? And with that transition, how is it going to help your top line? And where do you see your margins and the overall business going?
So for us, this transition is actually a very fundamental GTM driver.
Right.
It is not being done keeping a short-term goal in mind. So our view is by the end of this financial year, we should be able to complete Project Neve. And after that, that will help us over the next years to come from taking our brands from online to offline.
There have been reports that said that, Mamaearth distributors are saying that the company is burdening them with inventory and whatever it said. Today, because you're sitting right here in front of me, I really want to know that what do you have to say about that?
Our distribution system is different compared to other FMCGs because we were an online first company. We did not have any supply chain locations, which led to us creating super stockist kind of structures, which acted as our bulk breakers, because of which our overall system inventory is higher compared to other FMCGs, and which is where Project Neve comes into play and should help bring down some of these inventory numbers as well.
Being a brand that's catering to the masses, how do you bring in the balance between making products like this and also staying very true to the quality that you're bringing to the table?
We started our journey as a baby care brand, and where we were creating products for our own kids, right? And making sure that we are delivering the best quality has always been the goal. And so that is a DNA and a paranoia that exists within the company.
The block deal just went through, and a lot of investors like Peak 15 and all have divested their stake. Was there any conversation that happened before this was going?
I think if you were to look at our sample size, and I'm sure all our investors are very happy and at the returns that they have generated. It's been almost 1,800 crores worth of block deal that has happened, and which means that 1,800 crores worth of incremental capital has come into buying the stock, and which basically whoever is buying now believes that the company will go from here to tremendous heights.
Beauty and personal care D2C firm Pilgrim has bagged $9 million in an extended Series B round led by Fireside and Vertex Ventures. Now, the company will use these proceeds for expansion and general corporate purposes as decided by the board. The company's valuation has soared to approximately 2,075 crore rupees post the fundraise. This marks an over threefold increase from its last funding round of $20 million, where the company was last valued at $75 million. Joining me now to discuss their growth plans is Anurag Kedia, the co-founder of Pilgrim. Anurag, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on the show today. Like I said, you've recently raised the $9 million in an extended Series B funding round. How are you going to be using these funds? Any new products on the anvil?
Yeah. So there are a couple of use cases for these funds. One is our R&D, which is the core. So we are going to expand our R&D investment significantly. We also started setting up our offline presence sometime last year. So it's been around 15-16 months of that journey. And more than 25% of our revenues already come from offline. And by the end of this calendar year, by December 2024, we expect more than 30% of our revenues to come from offline. And so there will be a lot of investments in expanding the team further. Third is the international markets which we have entered. We are already present across multiple markets like the UAE, Singapore, Malaysia, also starting operations in US and Australia. So that's the third focus area. And the fourth is brand investments. We recently had a campaign go live with Rashmika Mandana and Manisha Koirala. And that's seen a very good response. So there will be investments on the brand front as well.
So four key areas that you've pointed out to us where the funds will go. And, I will discuss your offline expansion plans in just a bit. But you've seen about 4x growth in revenues, but your losses also went up 3 times in FY23 to about 23 crore rupees, right? So what's the target for this year? And what about profitability at this point?
So FY24, while the books are yet to be closed, I think we'll grow another close to 3x over FY23 revenues, while the losses will not increase in absolute terms. So in percentage terms, the losses will come down substantially, almost to a third, because the revenues will grow up 3x. And even FY25, I think we are on track to grow 2x in terms of revenues, and the losses, coming down further. So I think we are on the path to profitability, and FY26 is when we think we will be profitable on a whole year basis.
So on the way to profitability, and we'll see that in FY26 is what you're saying. But, one of the things you pointed out was bolstering your market presence was on top of the agenda, right? So you're present across skincare, hair care, makeup categories and fragrances. So talk to us about where you're seeing the most growth and what will remain the focus and, your top selling products, your customers' favorites.
So we launched the brand some 5 years back, with skincare, hair care. And we launched color cosmetics only last year. One of the differentiations for our color cosmetics range is it's skincare infused color cosmetics. So it's not just for, enhancing your looks, but it also actually delivers actives, which will take care of the health of your skin, lips, whichever product it is. So I think that's been one of the differentiators. And color cosmetics is showing us a lot of good traction given our offline presence now. And that's been a focus area. We already see close to 15% of our revenues come from color cosmetics, and skin and hair continue to grow well. So on an absolute basis, we have grown extremely well on skin and hair. Our number one product is our advanced hair growth serum, which is a Korean formulation and contains Redensil and Anagen. That contributes close to 20% of the brand's revenues. And that is the core of the brand in some way. That's the number one product, and that will continue to be our number one product in the near future.
So that's going to continue to be your number one product. But, expansion is also on the cards, right? So what's your current presence and where do you hope to expand into? What's, the typical cart size as well?
So online, we in fact deliver more than 20,000 pin codes, which is the entire India. And we think there is a lot of steam still left in the online growth. So we don't think the online growth is slowing down anytime soon for Pilgrim. And we do, like I was telling you, we do hope that we will grow on, 2x this current financial year also. And online continues to grow well. But a lot of our growth will also come from offline. Like I was telling you, we started the offline journey only 15 months back. And I'm happy to share that we already present in more than 200 cities and expanding. Right. So in the beauty industry, there's something called beauty advisors or BA counters, where there is a brand representative who helps the consumers to choose the right product which will suit them. We already have presence in more than 1,500 such outlets across general trade and modern trade. But general trade is a very, very large market. Modern trade also, we've just started kind of doing tie-ups with the larger chains. So I think offline itself will grow 3x to 4x in the next year or so.
So, you know, online is going to continue to grow for you. It's a big focus area, but offline is also going to contribute quite a bit. So how much will it contribute towards your revenues?
So by the next December, you know, we just work Jan, December, it works well for us. So December 2025, I think more than 40% of our revenues will come from offline.
So that's a large portion there. And will we see any Pilgrim special stores anytime soon?
Yeah, we already have EBOs. I'm happy to share we already have 5 EBOs. And we launched them in the beginning of this calendar year. We're seeing some very, very good response. We wanted to just wait out a few months before we started expanding the EBOs. So by the end of this year, we're adding another 10 to 15 EBOs. And the next year will also see us expanding many more EBOs. So close to probably 30 to 40 EBOs by the end of next calendar year.
So 30 to 40 exclusive stores by the end of next calendar year. But, you know, are you looking for any more fundraisers anytime soon, considering your big expansion plans?
We are well capitalized for the near future. So I don't think there's any more fundraisers in the near future.
So no more fundraisers in the near future and you're well capitalized. All right, Anurag, thank you so much for joining us on the show and we wish you all the best on your journey.
All right, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Startup Street from both Arundhati and me, Shruti. More news and updates coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.